So Dad kind of gave you a little bit of his, the time he bet on himself. I'm going to give you kind of mine. So when I was 18 years old, and I touched on this a little bit in the first one, I was getting ready to make the decision on whether I wanted to attend college or not. And anyone that's 18 years old or anyone that's gone through this process and you're one person that, was questioning if you were going to go to college or not, it's kind of a very, very, very stressful situation because on one side, you got people telling you, it's the only way to go. And the mainstream norm is you go to college. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. You just go to college. Duh. Why wouldn't you go to college? So you have everybody in your school telling you that. You got your friends telling you that. You got your girlfriend's parents telling you that. You got your girlfriend telling you that. You got your teachers telling you that. I mean, everybody seems like they're telling you that. I will say my parents really didn't care either way. They didn't push me to go either way. They said they support me, so that was nice. But that was honestly one of the toughest decisions I had to make. That was probably one of the first adult decisions I had to make because, it was a lot of, I went a lot of back and forth, pros and cons, but I sat down with myself and I said, do I like school? The answer was no. Am I going to go to college to learn something that I'm going to use off the farm? Probably not, because I thought, you know what? I'm going to come back here and I'm probably going to farm and do this, whether it's now or 4 years later. So I made the decision to bet on myself and go against the norm of going to college. And I bet on myself to stay here and farm and start choring hog buildings. And around here, people say, "Oh, you're just choring hog buildings. You're choring hogs. That's got to be that's got to be a crap life, choring hogs, whatever." But what people didn't really realize with that was that's not where I wanted to end. That's not where I wanted to start, and that's not where I just wanted to stay my entire life. When I made that bet on myself, I knew I was going to raise hogs and farm, but I had a goal in mind, and I had, a dream. I wanted to grow our farm, and I wanted to make it viable for another generation. And that's kind of my goal. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. And at first, when I first made that decision, it's like the first year when I was 18 and everyone else went off to college, all my friends, all that went off to college and I was at home. It was really hard, but you
were very unpleasant to be around, especially on the weekends.
Yeah. But I put myself up against a wall, essentially. I mean, I literally sat back and I said, well, this is it. This is real life. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to just chore hogs and be content with your life and stay here? Which, that's not a bad living, but to me, I wanted more. And I just sat there and I put my back up against the wall and I said, well, what are we going to do from here? Kind of that Lawrence Whistler mentality. My grandpa, what are you going to do about it? So, that's kind of where we are now. I went and I started farming, learning all the things I needed to learn. And I saw the opportunity with social media and, I started documenting our lives day to day as farmers. And that was another bet I made on myself because I'd never been on camera before. I wasn't a public speaker. I didn't know how to talk on camera, but I made the jump and I went into it. And now here we are. And I think we do a pretty good job putting out great videos on our farm channel. And now we're here starting a podcast and we're betting on ourselves here. Yeah. I made the bet on that too. And you just got to keep making those bets. But that was the first real big bet I made on myself to give me the confidence to just keep making bets on myself like that. That was the first real big one. And it was hard, but I've grown more as a person in the last 3 years than I ever did being in school. And it's just because I had that relentless mentality that I wasn't going to stay where I was and I was going to make my dream come true no matter what. And
yeah,
all that started because I made that first bet on myself.
Yeah. And what I was going to say to that is don't box yourself in because you really don't know what opportunity is going to come. And when I was just sitting here listening to you, when you made the decision that you were going to stay, you were going to come farm with me, you didn't know what your side hustle was going to look like.
No.
You knew that you wanted to do something with social media, and you were dabbling in it then.
Yeah,
but you didn't have any idea where it was going to go.
No, I didn't.
You just knew that you had to do something, and that you had to learn a lot about social media. I mean,
Right.
whether you were filming our day to day or you were filming something entirely different, you knew that was the direction you wanted to go.
That was the side hustle I wanted to go because
Yeah.
I thought it had the biggest upside. Yeah. That's something I left out. When I started social media, I had no freaking idea that I was going to become a farm YouTuber or whatever. You know, I had no idea. I was dabbling into fitness. I was trying to just figure out myself I was trying to figure out social media on the same time I was trying to figure out myself too and see what I was interested in and all that stuff. But, you know, then I came across a farm influencer or farm YouTuber and I'm like, you know what, I can probably do that, you know? And at that time I did so much, you know, work on learning social media and learning all the things you got to do on it that, when that opportunity came, I was ready for it. And that's a good point. You'll never know all of it. You'll never know when you make a decision, you'll never know everything when you make that decision. But if you feel obligated that that's the best decision for you, you're going to figure out the rest. You'll figure it out, and it might not come to you right away, but it will come in due time. So just be patient and just keep working, keep working.